Okay. Anyway, beginning now.
Okay.
Welcome into the reading stream, gentlemen. We're doing a quick little test here to make sure everything fucking works.
I'm gonna be honest, it hasn't said it's working yet, and when I'm looking at YouTube...
Oh yeah. Yep, that fixed it.
Yeah, I just upped the volume of Discord in my computer in general. My mic is picking up the fucking loudness of my computer fan for some fucking reason. I need to lower my mic volume because I'm topping it out. There we go. Yeah, Sync filling me today. There's a reason you gotta get more over-engineered fucking wall brackets. Anyway, without further ado, let's start the reading. Chapter 5th is entitled Art Block. Another day, another boring class. You open your mouth wide in a yawn before peering back down at your sketchbook. It was math. And the human teacher didn't really give a damn if you paid attention or not. Just do your work and turn in at the end of the day, and don't disturb him reading the dirty mags he lazily hides in books that are probably way too advanced of a reading level for him. You'd think the school so obsessed with a positive reputation would do more to curb creeps like him, yet he remains. And has remained for years, apparently. Though, he hasn't really creeped on any of the kids that you know of, and keeps it to himself, so you, along with the rest of the kids, ignore it. He gave you free time to work on your finalized sketch at least. This is probably the longest you've spent on a sketch. It was for a competition, after all. You only drawn 2 that you liked. One was a carbon copy of the photo you found the day you got your hands on the first photo album, and one was in the park, was more original, though you never got to finish it. Mulling over it for a few days, you decided on the former sketch. It'd just be easier. It was already a really good photo. You're coming up with a final version now, getting the anatomy and proportions just right to make sure you didn't fuck up. Though, with the time you've already spent on it, you were really itching just to hurry up and get it over with. Several days is probably way too long for you, but it had to be perfect for the judges. The painting needed to basically be Rembrandt, so that you could win and easily and really shove it in the face of your loathsome sister. A sigh of air left your nostrils as you dropped your head. No thinking about her. Take that anger and turn it into passion, Amber. You need to take more control. You lifted your head up and closed your eyes, meditating on the moment. With a deep breath, you open your eyes and ready yourself to add the finishing touch to your sketch. Ding dong, bing bong, bong ding ding dong. Shit. It'll have to be done during lunch, you guess. You stand up, grab your things, and turn your 10-question assignment before making your way to the cafeteria. Alright! Sarah stops gnawing on her apple and looks up expectantly to you. You fill in the final bits of shading and hand it over to your friend sitting across from you. She takes the paper in her hands and squints, expecting the drawing carefully. Damn, girl! I don't know how you did it. This is great. She hands the paper back to you. You sure? You stammer out. Nothing wrong with the proportions or anatomy or... Sarah waves her hand as she chews on the next bite of her apple. Amby, it's fine. More than fine, actually. It's perfect as is. If there's anything wrong with it, it's only an art snob will be able to notice. And if they have a problem with it, they can go fuck themselves. You roll your eyes. Sarah! It's more than that. A few judges will be art snobs. Half the damn panel is the art department. You look over at your sketch, inspecting with timid anxiety. I need this to be better than my usual stuff if it's going to win. Sarah scoffs, letting her apple core drop to the table. Amby, your usual stuff is amazing. And you're one of the best artists in the school. The other contestants are probably pissing themselves knowing you are going to be competing. You look at Sarah and then back down at your drawing again. I just don't know. I've always done art because it was a passion, something I did out of my own enjoyment. I never really entered any contests like this before. Then drop out of it, Sarah shrugs. I can't. Oh yeah? Why? Why not? The Triceratops crosses her arms and looks at you with a brow raised. You open your mouth to speak, but no words come out. You resign to glare at her. Amber, both you and me know why you're doing this. I meant it when I said I'm behind you 100%. But also, I know you. If this thing was too much for you, don't do it. The competition means nothing. What's the prize for first place anyways? You ponder a question for a moment, trying to remember exactly what the prize was. That's what I thought. Well, it's not about the prize, Sarah. I know, it's about Cynthia. Gah! You groan, throwing your hands up into the sky before burying your face in them. You feel a hand on your arm glare through your fingers as the purple dino's across from you, a helpful smile painted on her face. Her opinion on anything don't matter. You shouldn't have to go through the stress over competition you don't want to. You flick her hand away and place your hands at your sides. You close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Exhaling, you change your tone. Sarah, I love you. You're an amazing friend. And I really, really appreciate you looking out for me when you think I need it. But you open your eyes and give Sarah a very serious glare. I need this. I want to do this. My stress be damned. I need to learn to get over it anyway if I want to make a career out of this, right? So I'm going through with this, whether you like it or not. Sarah shakes her hand, or shakes her head in disappointment and snap palms, taking another exhausted look at you as she finally sighs and capitulates your demands. Sorry, I just got a fucking ad for Connell. Let me pull up my chat menu. Alright, do what you want, Amber. I'm behind you every step of the way, like I said. Just don't stress out over it too much. Okay? I won't. Good! Bing bong ding dong ding dong bing bong. 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 At the sound of the bell, the volume of the cafeteria increased by a few decibels, and students finishing up their conversations threw their trays away. Getting up from her own seat, Sarah begins to walk away with her tray, stopping for a moment to look back at you. And your drawing is great, by the way. It looked better on canvas, though. You slip on your apron, get everything you need. Paints, check. Water, check. Brushes, check. Easel and sketch, check. Various photo references, including the original photo, check. Yep, everything was ready. And now it was time to paint. You stare at the canvas. The time was now. You were gonna paint now. Just dip your brush in and go. Yep, that's all it took. You just had to start. Yep, starting. The beginning. You were ready. You could begin. You could initiate the process of dipping your brush in the oil-based hues and smear them across the canvas so that an image maybe... I'm stuck! You throw your apron off and flop onto your bed. Art block. How? How? You were so ready. You did everything right up to this point. You found out what you wanted to paint, you found the references you wanted, you drew up a sketch you liked, you finished the final product and showed it to your friend and got what was basically a double thumbs up. You even had everything in place. You just had to put brush to canvas. You've done this a million times. Why? Why now are you having a block? Ah! You slap your hands on your face and drag them down your snoot. You tilt your head over from where you lie lackadaisically, stare at your empty canvas. It stared back mockingly, taunting you quietly how its surface remained free from color. An ugly beige would remain. Its only scars were scratches of graphite that outlined the visage of your mother. Maybe it was an art block. You had been working hard for the last couple days. The painting and contest were the only things you could think about while awake. Hell, you had a dream or two about it. Maybe this was all your brain yelling and telling at you, "Hey, Little Miss Pterodactyl, can I have a fucking break? You've been forcing me to be creative for the past fucking week and a half." Maybe it was right. Maybe a break is what you needed, if only to recollect your thoughts. You didn't want to stare at the canvas anymore. You explore your room for something else to put your eyes on. Anything. Anything to take your mind off your art at all. The walls, which you painted yourself, pass. The curtains, which you also tie-dyed yourself, nope. Your lamp, nah, you sewed the shade. Your desk, which you carved intricate design. Is there a single thing in here I didn't make? You shout, slamming your fists into the mattress. You glance over at the photo album that's still laid on your desk. Well, you didn't really get a chance to look through all the photos, did you? At the very least, it was something to distract yourself from having to be creative every moment you were awake. You reach over and grab the heavy book from your nightstand and shift yourself so your back is leaning against the head frame of your bed. Getting yourself into a cozy position, you take a quick breath in and out to clear your mind a bit and open the photo album. You start with the first page you supposed. Get an actual look at them. And the first few images were the ones that you'd seen before. Younger Miss Trish. Younger Reed. A few with Stella and Aunt Rose in the background. Even one or two with Uncle Nasser and some parasaur girl you didn't recognize. You eventually find the pictures of your dad again. Photos of him laughing or being annoyed. These photos seem to be from before him and your mom dated. You wonder how they got together. It was never really a story you felt the need to ask. Your whole life up to this point, Stella had been your mom, and while you'd ask questions here and there, nothing really made you want to know who this woman who shared half your DNA was. Up next were photos of just your mom and dad. Photos involving Miss Trish and Reed began to thin out, and photos of your parents began to turn from more casual to more romantic. Ugh. Gross. Pictures of date turned into pictures of prom, into pictures of whenever mom would visit dad in college. Both of them beginning to turn into the images you associated them with today as their faces got older and outfits changed. Dad would stop wearing literally the same outfit in every photograph and actually have a variety of different things to wear. Same for your mother. She slowly phased out her punk rock get-up and started to wear clothes that looked more adult. This went on for a while until... Was that her crying? Glancing over the other photos for context, you finally deciphered she was tearing up about. A pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. It was only now that you realized how quiet your house was. The only noise in the house coming from the AC. You shift yourself and bring the album close to your face. The bizarre feelings you felt when you first opened this thing when Sarah crept back a bit. You flip to the next page. A baby shower. A whole bunch of gifts and family and other faces that you recognize were all there. Next one was one of those gender reveal parties that used to be big back in the day. A balloon that said "Pop Me" was in between your parents, who were both holding the same needle in their hands. The next photo was them covered in pink glitter. Mom embraced Dad with a look of excitement and pure joy. Dad looked at the camera with a more crestfallen look. The distressed thoughts he had when he realized he was going to have to be the only guy in the household seemed to really irk him. Not much has changed, has it, old man? You noticed that you were beginning to get to the end of the book, so the next few photos you really drank in. The baby bump would grow larger with every picture. The photos would vary from exhaustion to annoyance to excitement, every other emotion that must have come from being pregnant. Then there was that last page. There was a message at the top scrawled in what was unmistakably your dad's handwriting. 1 more month before we get to meet her. One photo, centered in the page. It was just your mom sitting in a bench chair with the sunset behind her. A content smile on her face and her hands on her stomach. Almost as if she were trying to hold you. As if you could have been closer to her than you already were in the picture. It felt weird. Or was it weird? You didn't know? There was some more writing underneath the photo. You had to bring it closer to read, but your vision was getting fuzzy for some reason. It only had 4 words, but it was in fucking cursive. Probably your mom's handwriting. You squint your eyes and see past whatever was obstructing your vision. Amber, I can't wait to see you. The tears finally heavy enough to fall from your eyes and splash upon the page. Your breath hitches as you sniff, bringing up an arm to wipe away the grief that now filled your eyes. Fuck. This wasn't how you were supposed to relax. You keep the book in your hands and stare at the final photo for a few moments longer. The tragedy of those words digging deep into your heart as you try your best to contain yourself. Your fingers softly drift across the photo several times, desperately trying to find a way to embrace this woman you've never met. Oh shit! You shut the album and shove it under your pillow. Yeah, come in! Your doorknob turns and your dad peeks his head through the door. Hey, it's almost time for Amber? You stare at your dad from your bed, trying your best to look as normal as possible. The wide eyes and the piercing stare of shock probably wasn't helping you, though. Yeah, what's up, Dad? Your father cautiously takes a few more steps in your room. Sweet Tooth, are you doing okay? You nod your head. Yep, fine. No problems in here. Why? The human shifts nervously. Well, your eyes are red. Are you sure you're okay? Is there anything you want to talk about? What? Oh, these? Pfft, nah, I'm fine. It's just, artist eyes. Yep, that's when you get in the zone, you know? You're so focused on getting the details right in a project, you forget to blink. Or something like that, yep. You give your dad an innocent smile, hoping he buys the bullshit you're pushing through your teeth. The look of worry doesn't leave his face, though. He looks you up and down, anxiously inspecting you from head to toe. Well, okay then, I guess. Anyway, it's time to wash up. Your mother's almost on dinner. Okie dokie, Daddy. I'll be out there in a minute. You give him the widest possible grin you could, giving him a thumbs up in the process. He turns to leave, quickly looking over you one last time before shutting the door behind him. With the awkward confrontation out of the way, you cringe and bury your head in your knees. Did that really have to happen? Now Dad was probably going to try and pry into why you were crying. There was no way in hell he bought that fucking artist eyes excuse. Your man's a fucking audio engineer. He works with artists on a daily fucking basis. You still had a makeup on. Oh fuck, was your mascara runny? You slam your head back into your pillow, colliding with something solid underneath it. Ow, jeez! Oh yeah, the album. Rubbing your crest, you pull the book out from underneath your pillow and look it over. You mull over what to do with it for a moment before opting just to throw it on your desk drawer for the time being. Emotional train wreck dealt with, you make your way to the bathroom and wash your hands and clean any mascara that might have gotten ruined before meeting with your family for dinner. Now you really need to take a fucking break. I'll be back in a moment. Let me grab my drink of choice. It'll be whiskey for the evening. Never mind, my whiskey is missing. I guess I'll have to settle for more Iron Brew, gentlemen. Oh wow, that's an explosion. You knock on your eldest daughter's door. Yeah, come in. You push the door open and shove your face through the crack. Hey, it's almost time for Amber? Your daughter is staring back at you with an expectant look. Her eyes were bloodshot and open wide with shock. It was painfully obvious she was trying not to look as anxious as possible, but it wasn't really working. Yeah? What's up, Dad? You take a step into her room. Sweet Tooth? Are you okay? Yep, fine. No problems in here. Why? You shift a bit. You don't really believe that. Something is clearly wrong. Well, your eyes are red. Are you sure you're okay? Anything you want to talk about? What? Oh, these? Pff, nah, I'm fine. It's just, artist eyes. Yep. It's when you get into the zone, you know? You're so focused on getting the details right on a project you forget to blink. Or something like that, yep. Amber gives you a massive grin to signal everything is really okay. You look her up and down, pondering her words. That doesn't sound like a real thing. You're beginning to get suspicious, but you could tell you weren't going to get anything out of her at this very moment. Well, okay then. I guess. Anyways, it's time to wash up. Your mother's almost done with dinner. Okie dokie, Daddy. I'll be out in a minute. She gives you another big grin and a thumbs up before you leave the room. Something was definitely up. You go to tell Cynthia to wash up as well and return to the dining room to help Stella with dinner. So many memories. I'm glad you decided. So many memories. I'm glad you decided to finally start watching it. Your stagel wife squeeze with glee, talking to Cynthia. I'm only on episode 4, Mom. I still don't get the appeal. It's not obvious how VR works. And I definitely wouldn't peg an online MMO as being a very good fit for VR anyways. Well, virtual reality was still really new back then. Besides, at least it was very different to every other video game-based isekai was coming out at the time. You look over to Amber. Silence. Typically, she would be, during these conversations, she was never big into anime. At least not into it as her sister and Stella were. But she was just poking at her food. She was so disconnected from everything. You decide to try and speak to her. Hey. Amber perched up and looked over to you. You okay? You okay? You barely touched dinner. Oh, yeah, just deep in thought. Contemplating, color palettes and stuff. Don't know if I want to go with something more retro or modern, you know? You raise your eyebrow. You glance over to the Stegos. Still distracted by their own conversation, you lean in towards Amber and whisper to her, Listen, Sweet Tooth. If there's something wrong... Nothing's wrong, Dad. I'm just a little overwhelmed, is all. It happens. Are you sure? Amber takes a minute to think and looks at you again. Yeah, of course I'm fine. The response felt incredibly forced. You could smell the dishonesty on her breath. Well, if you need to talk about something with me, anything, I'm here. And I won't judge you. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Dad. You place a hand on her shoulder. What? Fuck, I fucking... That was probably too obvious of a thing to do, because your wife just caught on to your conversation. Is everything alright? You and Amber look over at Stella, who had just turned away from her own conversation. Amber rolls your hand off her shoulder. Yeah, Mom, it's nothing. It's just a bit stressed about my art project. Really? You aren't usually stressed about a project. She's entering an art contest. Cynthia butts into the conversation and returns her glare from Amber. Oh, really? That's cool. What are you painting? Oh shit, fuck, you never told Stella, did you? You really didn't think about it when Amber asked for the old photo album. What would Stella think? Fuck, what would she think? It's been almost 18 years, but... You glance over at your daughter, opting to let her answer this on her own. I want to keep it a surprise. Oh, well, that's fine. I love surprises. Crisis averted. You let out a sigh you didn't know you had in you. Just don't be surprised if you don't win. Oh God in heaven, why now? Stella's usual bubbly expression snaps into a face of indignation and turns... Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I fucked that up. My apologies. Just don't be surprised if you don't win. Oh God in heaven, why now? Stella's usual bubbly expression snaps into a face of indignation and turns towards your younger daughter. You know what? Amber gets up and grabs her plate. I think I'll just eat in my room tonight. You three collectively watch the pterosaur retreat to her bedroom. And when you hear the door shut, you give Cynthia a glare of your own. What? Cynthia, I love you, but your sister's going through a lot of stress. Would you please learn when to shut your mouth? She opens her mouth and prepares to protest, but shuts it with a look of dejection. After Amber left the dinner table, after Amber left the table, dinner continued in relative silence. You hated when this happens, but you needed to try and coax her back out. It would only lead to more issues and yelling at the table. And in the name of having a quiet night, you skip on the idea of attempting it for what would have been the umpteenth time. You shut the door behind you and pull up a chair, leaning back, and you let the cool night wind grace your face as you breathe in the fresh air. You pull several things from your pockets. Lighter, some cigarettes. You told yourself you'd quit years ago, but you always kept a pack just for times like this. You're going to need them for what you're about to do. The nicotine necessary tool for calming your nerves. You place one of the canister sticks between your mouth and light up, making sure to take in a deep drag before pulling out your phone out of your pocket. Amber was upset. You weren't sure about what, but she was pushing you away. Typically, you'd chalk it up to it being estrus and her being cranky from all the hormones she couldn't release. Or, well, she didn't have a boyfriend, did she? One stress-inducing situation at a time, on. Back to estrus. It couldn't be. It wasn't the season for tarots and whatever the problems she had coming up with in the midst of a particular rust patch in her and Cynthia's relationship. They were never on the best of terms, which you wouldn't know if that was normal or not, but in the past few weeks they seemed to be at each other's throats. Pressing through the contacts list, you found a name you were looking for. Well, second name. First guy on your list would have been asleep by now, so son would have to be the best option. Despite the fact that him and Olivia don't have kids yet. Besides, Nazer's a bro. You tap the name and place the phone to your ear. After a few seconds of ringing, you hear a voice of your brother-in-law on the other end. Yo, Anon? Hey, Nazer. Am I bothering you, am I? Kinda. Olivia and I were about to watch a movie. Oh, okay then. I could just call later then. Well, wait. What are you calling about? You take a few seconds for sign. It's about Amber. There was a silence for a few moments. You could hear the sounds of distant conversation, the sound of a door opening and closing. What about her? Nazer, man, I don't want to interrupt. Nah, it's fine. It's family business, family business. You smile at that. Thanks. Well, where do I even begin? Something's wrong with her. Wrong? Like how wrong? Is she sick? No, not sick. At least I don't think so. I don't know, man. Well then, what's the issue? That's the thing. I don't know. Earlier tonight I walked into her crying. About what? Again, I don't know. She kept denying that she was and kept telling me everything was alright. You took another inhale from your cigarette and rubbed the back of your neck. Come to think of it, she's been acting sort of off lately. Well, did anything happen? Nothing out of the ordinary, though her and Cynthia have been at it again. Nazer groaned. You practically hear him shaking his head. This again? Well, yes and no. Amber in an art contest at school. Oh? Yeah, so that has been adding to her stress. She's been painting. Probably doesn't help the situation either. Who is she painting? You pause. You felt like you shouldn't tell him. Amber wants it a secret, and while you never asked, there appears to be an unspoken agreement between the two of you to keep it under wraps for now. Well, this is Nazer, a bro, and a man who literally has no reason to be gossiping about a high schooler's art project in the emergency room. Anon, can you hear me? Huh? You snapped out of your mumbling. I asked who Amber was painting. Oh, fuck, I won't hurt telling him. She's painting Lucy. Oh! Even though the two of you were on opposite sides of the city, the tension could be felt miles away. I see. Has she been asking questions then? Huh? What do you mean? Has she been asking questions about Lucy? I mean, this was bound to happen at some point, right? Stella isn't her mom. Hey, don't say that. Stella's been raising Amber for almost 17 years. Whoa, man, I didn't mean anything by it. Stella's been doing great for all I know. But she didn't give birth to Amber. Doesn't look like her either. So what do you mean, then? I mean, maybe Amber is trying to wonder where she comes from. She never got to meet Lucy, after all. You think over Nazer's words for a moment. This could be true, but why now? She's asked questions before, but she never really expressed any genuine curiosity. At least that's not how she made it out when she asked for the old photo album. She just wanted to paint her mom, right? Let us sigh before taking another draw. I don't know, Nacer. Well, what you're saying makes sense, but shit has been going on since before she entered the contest. Even if she had been questioned about losing, she told me she hasn't told me anything yet. And there's definitely been some other problems going on. I just want to know how I can get her to talk to me. Yeah, well, you can't force it on. Maybe you go out and do something with her? Like what? Well, I don't know. A dinner, movie, something to cheer her up. No strings attached either. I mean, if her being in a better mood will open her up, go for it. But if it doesn't, you at least help her cheer up even if a little bit. A movie or dinner? That doesn't sound like a bad idea. So you agree then? Fucking mumbling. Yeah, I might try that. Cool, set. Nazer was cut off by something in the background. Yeah, coming! Shit, sorry, Anon. Olivia's getting impatient. Don't sweat it, man. You were great help. No problem, man. Oh, and hey, update me on the situation, okay? Of course! Go enjoy your date night, man. With a few parting words, Nazer hangs up, prompting you to place your phone back into your pocket. You inhale the last of the tobacco and throw the butt in the ground, snuffing out with your heel. As you turn to head back inside, you ponder possibilities of what you could do with Amber to cheer her up. You need to take a few days off work. Whatever you end up choosing, it couldn't possibly make the situation any worse, right? It is now time for the first drawing intermission. If you gentlemen are ready. Are you gentlemen ready? Face! Are you gonna join for intermission? Or is he what the fuck? Why is he muted? Oh, he fucking left. Alright, cool. Alright. You have stories to tell, Acorn. You start fucking talking about shit that fucking went through as a child, and I'll start drawing geese. Oh yeah, what do you want the goose to be doing? I don't know why you're insulting us. We don't really hold grudges for life. That's just women. Aren't we all? Dog, you're listening to me read dinosaur fan fictions. It's not that deep. Chess. Chess. Let me just make an artist rendition of Tyler. What about his teeth? Of course, though, he is also not quite corn-fed. However, he is huge. Am I still pretty spot on with this drawing of Tyler? Oh yeah, let me go in there and fix that for you. There we go. I'm a fucking dickhead sometimes. He seems like the type to get one of these little guys put on his arm. Little anchors. Yeah, it's still loading. You'll see it in a second. Slacks, we call them. Alright, well, this is just a tuxedo print shirt, so I mean, you know. He's got these fucking Roblox hands, man. You not learning how to box? The drawing I made of Tyler does look like a Muppet. I plead the fifth. Because he seems like the sort of feller who would, just grab a goose from the pond. Just to hold it. Listen, my father used to be a police officer. I learned how to profile people from a young age. And I'm autistic, so I have extra pattern recognition. You like all the drawings on this page so far? It's amazing. Yeah, let me add some motion lines. I'm no stranger to love. You know the rules, and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I feel, and gonna make you understand. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna ride around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've been together for so long. I don't remember the rest. Man, this is great. I forgot that song existed, but it's just enshrouded in my fucking genetic memory. Isn't he British? No, Rick Astley. I mean, it's not all that different from our states, because Kansas absolutely fucking hates Missouri and vice versa. How many regenerations do you have left? How many regenerations do you have left? If you're in your 6th form. Jesus. Awarded a Darwin, we shall say. Removed from the gene pool. No, that just means removed from the gene pool. Listen, I'm a responsible owner of firearms. I can't exactly draw anything in that theme. Well, yeah, I've been coming up with things, but you've been fucking going at it for a while now. I think it's time for this intermission to end. But you've been telling some fucking fantastic stories, I gotta say. We have this here. I was gonna just go ahead and start reading again. Let me switch this thing back. You've told a very good story, though, my friend. Yep. See you then, pal. Chapter the 7th is linear perspective. Finally, lunch! You walk over and stand in line to receive whatever disgusting slop school is serving that day. You should really start to bring your own lunches, although doing that is honestly asking too much after having to sit in this dull hellscape for 7 hours a day. You grab a veggie wrap from the herbivore counter and walk outside towards your favorite spot. A little bench no one ever goes to. Perfect for you. If there was one thing you hated, it was having your peace and quiet molested by the fluoride-influenced normies that plague your school. Their retarded, benign talking points do little more than to plant the desire to act yourself. Football practice this. Chad and Stacy broke up that. Ugh. You put in your earphones and begin playing some music to accompany your death scrolling with a certain Ethiopian bread-making forum. Gnawing at your leafy wrap, you chuckle, cringe, and seethe your way through the multitude of threads. Total peace and serenity. At least, what little you could collect at Volcano High. And then, no, oh no, a group of kids decide to sit on the bench next to you. You turn the volume on your music up a little louder and attempt to drown out the conversation. No luck. Oh, did you hear what Philip did in gym class? Oh, he sent Sam and then went and... Ha ha! Candace would do that, wouldn't she? Wait, who's Candace? A boiling annoyance begins to bubble up inside of you. Why were they here? Why sit so far away from the other peons in your class? No one was even on this side of the school except you. And why'd it have to be such a large group? There were like, what, 4, 5 dinos sitting on that bench? And they did it. Why did they have to talk about the most boring and milquetoast things? Gardening club, track, the football team, hell, even school projects. Do these normies have any interests outside of school? Any aspirations? Any hobbies? Anything other than the useless extracurriculars that no one after high school would even care about? Finally, it was too much for you, and with a loud groan, you finally pick yourself up and retreat from the area. From the corner of your eye, you see the students you just left in the dust eye you with confusion as you storm off, complete and utter unawareness of how fucking annoying they were. After some wandering, you find yourself in the gardens, your backup hiding spot. You sit on one of the stone benches and sit back. Finally, once again, some peace and fucking quiet. Only people here were a Triceratops couple, but they were keeping to themselves, and to counter the stereotype, being quiet. You sigh and let your body relax to the surprisingly comfortable, rock-solid bench. Fucking normies and their friend groups, you've seen it all before. None of these people will talk to each other once after you've gotten done with this place. This was an epiphany you had after middle school. None of the kids you knew back then ever talked to you anymore. So what's the point of even forming these relationships? A healthy apathy of what happens here is just common sense. Like, why bother? Your petty high school friendships won't last outside of it. You're only stuck here together. Complete serendipity. And you couldn't even get yourself started on these high school couples. Ugh. You were about to get back to munching on your leaf right before ding dong, bing bong, bing bong, ding dong. What? Are you serious? That was no time at all. Those fucking pieces of shit ruined your lunch. Pathetic waste of space. You mutter to yourself as you gather your belongings and walk back into the building, numbing on the rest of the food as you head to class. Finally, home. Just inside was your humble, neat dungeon and PC. The best ones your parents would give you, at least. Something, Dad telling you that you don't need the best hardware to play good games. Something, old school speak. Yeah, to be fair, you didn't. But having a nicer tower definitely adds to the aesthetic you're trying to pull off in your room. Walking into the door, the weight of today seemed to melt off your shoulders. You were about to make a beeline to your room before you're interrupted by the bubbly voice of your mother from the kitchen. Cynthia, you're home! Yup, survived another day. You turn around and notice your father's sitting at the counter. Oh, hey, Dad, you're home early. Your father looks up from his computer that he was studying, and he looks at you. Oh, hey, sweetheart. And, where's your sister? You shrug. I don't know. Probably with Sarah. Your dad nods and looks back towards his laptop. You were about to go do something similar in your room, but when your mother stops you. Oh, sweetie, wait. Since you're probably just going to be watching anime, would you like to continue Sword Art with me? You ponder for a minute. Why not? It was an anime you wanted to watch when you got home. In fact, you weren't really enjoying it. But you couldn't say no to Mom. Sure. Is Dad gonna join? The two of you look towards him expectantly. But he didn't seem to be paying attention. Your mother coughs, prompting your dad to look up and scream, Oh, what? Honey, Cynthia will ask if you want to join us. We're going to continue watching Sword Art Online. Oh, sorry, I was busy looking at something, Your dad rubs his neck. I don't know, that series never really for me. Your mother scoffs. Oh, come on. We never get to do this anymore. Besides, you're taking a few days off work. You've been on the laptop since lunch anyways. What could you possibly be looking at on there? A look of panic fills your dad's eyes as your mother grabs the screen and turns it around. Restaurants? Your dad sat there in slight shock. Yeah, I was looking for something nice. If it ain't Japanese, I ain't going. You pipe up. Well, I actually already have something in the oven for tonight. Your mother glares at your father, who was very quick to explain himself. No, I wasn't looking for tonight. I was thinking Sunday. Your mom perks up at that. Ooh, that sounds lovely. I can't remember the last time we went out to eat as a family. Your dad mutters something under his breath. Something, actually, something, only Amber. You raise your eyebrow at that. What was that, dear? Your mother asks. Oh, nothing. Yeah, I wanted to look for someplace nice, somewhere we've never been. Your mother squeezes and wraps your father in a death hug, catching him completely off guard. Anon, sweetheart, that's a wonderful idea. She pulls him in for a kiss. Gross. Yeah, it is. Pushing your mother away, probably to get the air she squeezed back into his lungs, he collects himself and clears his throat. So, Sword Art Online. Yeah, I can watch that with you two. Your mother beams and turns towards you. Good! Cynthia, sweetheart, could you turn on the TV and put it on? I have to set the timer first. Sure, Mom. You plop yourself down on the couch and put the 410 Anti-Kino your mom loves so much, and then are shortly joined by her and your dad. Letting yourself relax, you press play and begin the collective viewing experience. Your mother scooches closer and cuddles up to Dad. Gross. 8 episodes. You three have been watching for 8 episodes. Each episode is like 20 or 25 minutes in length. 3.5 hours of just the most safe and bland isekai you've ever seen. Sure, some scenes were okay, but God, was it stale. Made all the more worse by your mother cheering and getting excited over every action scene. At least Dad found her outburst entertaining, though you noticed the toll the show was taking on him as well. Or was it something else? He kept glancing at his phone. Just as you were about to fall into the mid-induced coma, you could hear the door opening and closing. Amber makes herself seen as she walks into the room. Amber! Hey, sweet tooth! Your dad calls out. Your sister stops and stares at the three of you on the couch. Oh, hey, am I interrupting something? Your mother shakes her head. No, we were watching an old anime. I loved it back in high school. You're welcome to join us until dinner is ready. Amber looks over at the TV and back at the three of you. There was a strange look on her face. Was that Annoyance? No thanks, I'll pass. You and Sarah were up pretty late. You were up pretty late. You and Sarah go somewhere? Amber looks to your dad. That was probably what he was stressing out about this whole time then. No, not really. Your sister was just kind of staring at your dad. Oh, then where were you? Where I always go when I want to be alone. She responded matter-of-factly. What was the audacity of this bitch? Your dad began shifting nervously. Which is? Near downtown. Well, that was a non-answer if you've ever heard one. Oh, but why would you want to be alone? Your mother asks, adjusting herself on the couch so that she could get into more serious posture. Amber stared blankly at your mother for a moment, almost as if she was trying to register what she was saying. Don't worry about it, Mom. It's just typical contest things. I'll be in my room if you need me. As she passed the TV, she gave you a quick glance with her eyes that said, "But not you," very loudly. Hey, wait, dinner's almost ready, Sweet Tooth. Why don't you just stay out here and wait with us for a while? Amber pauses for a moment to consider your dad's question. Actually, I think I want to skip dinner tonight, if you don't mind. Well, why would you want your sister... Why would you want... Your sister cuts your mother off. I spoiled my appetite earlier, sorry. Before anyone could say another word, Amber retreats into her room and shuts the door. What the fuck was all of that? The three of you were left stunned on the couch, taking occasional looks at each other. Mom was the first to speak. That was weird. Why was she so... standoffish, you finish? Your mom squirmed at that, clearly not liking the bluntness, but also not being able to disagree with the truth of the statement. She looks over to your dad for an answer. He sighs and rubs his temple. The contest must be wearing her down, I guess. Will you talk to her? Your mom places her hand on your dad's. I've tried several times. She doesn't want to. And Forreston has not made things better, I'll say that much. You two don't tell Amber this, but it's why I've been trying to look for a place to go out. Your mom looks back towards Amber's door with a cold anxiety. I see. You also take a quick glance over to the door, but you didn't really share the same sympathy your parents did. No, you were suspicious. Amber has been acting so weird lately, more pissy than usual. During dinner, you begin to ponder on what you should do. Amber was definitely close to doing something stupid. You have to be on guard and ready to take action whenever she would finally decide to try something stupid. No, Peter, no, it's me. I'm telling you, Sarah, I'm fine. Are you sure, Amby? It's been a week. We only see each other at lunch now, and you've been pretty quiet there as well. I told you, I've just been busy. Honestly, as soon as this painting is done, everything will be fine. Girl, fuck the painting. I swear, it's killing you at this point. That thing has to be a health hazard at this point. I've already started, Sarah. I can't just go back out now. Look, Amber, you need to drop this. I've been letting you go through with this because it looked like it was something you really wanted to push through, but at this point you're pushing it too far. Sarah, I don't need to hear this right now. I'm finishing this. I'm too far into this. I'm too far in as it is. You can disagree all you want, but I'm finishing it, with or without you. There was a silence on the other end of the receiver, for what felt like aeons before your friend resumed. I just hate to see you so stressed out about this stuff, Amby. Her voice was very somber. I know you're trying to look out for me, Sarah, but... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gassy. But let me just finish this. We've had this conversation too many times now. It's a painting. It won't kill me. I just need to get through it all is all. Sarah didn't respond this time. Sarah, I have to go now. I'll see you at school tomorrow, okay? You waited a few seconds for an answer. Okay, but please promise me that you'll take care of yourself. Please? You sigh. Of course, I promise. I'll talk to you later. After your goodbyes, you hang up the phone and lazily drop it on the bench next to you. You lean back and let out a deep exhale. In breath you didn't always know you've been holding. Sarah was wrong. She didn't know it. Not about the stress, but where the stress is coming from. The last few days have been, well, a mess. You looked towards your sketchbook. Empty. It's been empty for these several days. You couldn't really focus on coming up with anything to draw. Not when she occupied your mind. It's been a few days since your dad walked in on you crying into a photo album, and it hadn't really gotten easier since. All those photos made you feel, well, some feeling you couldn't put your finger on. Nostalgia. You were never there for any of those memories. Longing. Did you miss her? But who did you miss? You never met her. Not really. Well, that's just the problem, isn't it? You never got to meet her. She was never there. Someone equally as passionate about her art and expression as you were about your own, and you'd never be able to share in those emotions. You slouch over and bury your snout in your hands with a groan, something you've been doing a lot of lately. Why the hell did you ever think this would have been a good idea? Look at what you've done to yourself. Now you can't focus on the painting. The entire reason for any of this to start in the first place. You should have picked another person to paint. Auntie Rosa was just popular back at school, if not more influential for what she did for the gardening club when she was a student. And she probably would have been happy too. Or maybe you didn't even have to paint anyone. You could have painted a vista or something, a landscape. That's what you love doing anyways. But no. You had to open up old wounds you didn't even know you had. Now with the actual contest only 2 weeks away, with you being so far into a piece that now you can't exactly start over, why do you ever think painting your mom was a good idea? You stopped your inner monologue for a second there. Mom. You were calling her mom now. Well, accurate description, you suppose, but there's only been one person you've called mom. The green, anime-loving Stegosaurus. No, the other one. You grimace. You have experienced the sequels being worse than the original, but now with everything that's going on, your sister has been really ruining your opinion of the woman who raised you. Why does that shut-in leech get to have her mom? Why do your parents put up with it so much? Sometimes you wish your parents actually believed in spanking their children. She deserved an ass-whipping or 2. Or 5. You didn't understand it. None of them have been really much help these past few days. Dad has, but you couldn't bring up Lucy. Not with him. Those wounds probably go deeper than yours. Something that probably took years to heal if they weren't still healing. You have no idea what would happen if you started opening them up again. You don't really feel ready to see your dad cry. And Mom? Stella? Well, she was a replacement, right? She probably had some objections to even the idea of painting your mom. Well, wouldn't she? Well, even if she didn't, it'd be so awkward. Yeah, hey, I'm sad as fuck because I miss my real mom. Will you help me feel better? And Cynthia. Ha! Hell no. If she didn't just tell you to fuck off, she'd berate you, like she'd always done. Not a single supportive word has ever left that bitch's mouth in her life. She doesn't know shit. She can't create. She hasn't lost anyone. She is such a privileged piece of shit. Sheltered beyond imagining, and receives no more than slaps on the wrist for snide comments and insults she throws at you every dinner. It makes you sick. It made you angry. The negative thoughts made you think of in spite of so much more around you. Your mother is gone, replaced. And by who? A naive woman who gave birth to the most petulant waste of sperm and embryo on the face of the planet, who doesn't even begin half the punishment she rightfully deserves? And your father, as well-meaning as he is, a spineless, bald, skinny, a spear-chucking pussy. Fuck, thank the Lord that offspring resemble the sex of their parent and that you weren't born a boy. Being half-human was enough. To make it physically obvious would be horrible. Your wicked mom does more to punish the hellspawn of the house, and even this is just disappointed words in French, which she tried to force on you. Sometimes you wish you could run away. An alarm on your phone snaps you out of your seething. 6 o'clock. About time to head home. You pick your head up and look around. The boardwalk is mostly empty, the streetlights are on. You pick up your things and throw them in your bag, flinging it over your shoulder. As you begin to walk home, you return to your mental ring of grievances in your head. Your family, all three of them, nothing but headaches. A father who refuses to back you up, an oblivious stepmother, and a shithead half-sister. You felt alone, isolated, like you had no one to talk to. You know this was a lie. You had plenty. But would they even listen to you and understand? Will those people even be able to contain themselves, or would it just be a passing phase? Something you should just suffer in silence with until it finally blows over. Until you finally forget about your mom like everybody else did. There was a crack of thunder in the sky, and you could smell the sea in the air. You'd have to make it home fast. Hey, bro. Oh, it's fucking morning for you British people, isn't it? Chapter the 9th is entitled A Hard-Edged Night. Yeah, I mean, if you gotta go to bed, Crusader, it's fine. If you have to go to bed, it's fine. It's okay. I was talking to the other British person who sometimes joins me in these adventures, which they can't hear you, so I'm just fucking talking to myself like a psychopath. Anyway, back into it. Ugh. You shift in the back of this car. The weekend was here and your family decided to go out to eat tonight. Well, this was decided much earlier in the week. An idea from your dad. You loved him, but did he really have to suggest going to a restaurant tonight? Why not just order takeout or delivery or something? You'd rather sit and watch horrible anime with your mom again over doing this. Especially if it meant you didn't have to sit next to Amber for the next 20-minute drive. Where are we going again? What the fuck is my headphone cord caught on, motherfucker? Your mother looks up to you through the rearview mirror. Oh, this lovely Italian restaurant. It had 5 stars on Screech. Their breadsticks are supposed to be amazing. Oh, another Olive Jungle ripoff then? You roll your eyes and went back to just staring out the window at the passing traffic. You took a few occasional glances at your half-sister, your self-imposed responsibility to keep an eye on her as she was going through her whatever drama bullshit wasn't forgotten by you. She was quiet, eerily quiet. She just kinda looked forward, not even out the window. When you all first got into the car, she would receive a few texts, never answering them. After a while, she just muted her phone. Strange. Before long, the family of 4 finally, the 4 of you finally made it to the place. Cucina degli Rivalry. After the waitress taking your names, in a long wait, you were all finally seated. Your mother studied the menu in awe and wonder, while your dad took a glance at every other second towards your sister, who was again just staring at nothing. Her menu wasn't even open. On your part, this decision was difficult for you. Spaghetti. Who knows? Maybe it'll be better than Mom's. Once the orders were taken and menus returned, your mother sighed in relaxation and let herself relax into her cushioned leather booth. Ah, this is actually nice, not having to cook for once. We should honestly do it more often. Well, we'll see. I don't make that much money. Your father scratched his neck, feeling his wallet cry out in pain for your mother, even considering such an idea. Oh, no, sweetheart, I don't mean that often, but maybe like every other weekend? And we don't have to go to such fancy places like this. She looked up at your dad with her signature puppy dog eyes. His weakness. Honestly, not a bad skill to have. Maybe you should ask her how she does it sometimes. Well, I guess if everyone's okay with it. Your mother beams and turns to you and Amber. What do you girls think? Should we make this a regular thing? You weren't really enthusiastic about the idea, but those puppy dog eyes, man. Your dad was no match. Throw in takeout and delivery, and I guess I can tolerate interacting with normies every other Saturday or so. Your mother smiles sweetly as turns to Amber for her answer, who's just staring at the tablecloth in front of her. very interested in the thread count or something. Amber, sweetie? Your sister shakes herself from her no doubt deep and emotional thinking. Huh? What? How do you like the idea of going out, doing this a weekend or two out of the month? Going out, I mean. Oh, it's okay, I guess. Sounds cool? Your mother gives a nervous yet still satisfied smile to the answer. Your dad, on the other hand, was not about to let the strange behavior slide. Amber, are you okay, sweet tooth? I'm doing alright, just tired, just a little tired. Running the painting has been a pain in the, butt. Probably my least favorite part about the whole process, I tell you. She puts on an extremely fake smile for your dad, who just nods and drops it. Wow, really? It's that easy? Is your dad autistic, or is he just choosing to ignore how strange Amber has been lately? Small talk between the four of you, well, the three of you resumed until dinner arrived. The spaghetti was good. Really good, actually. Your mother moans in delight. This risotto is so good. The ribollota isn't half bad either, your dad says. He seems actually shocked that it's good. Your mother looks over at Amber, who was just poking at her dish. Amber, how's your chicken Alfredo? Amber grunts and pokes more at her food. Mom cocks her head with a confused look. Your dad leads in. Sweet tooth, your mother's talking to you. Amber grunts second time. I'm my real mom. Silence. It's almost like the restaurant Frozen time. The clanking of silverware dropping on a plates was amplified, as if a second meteorite had crashed into the earth, threatening the life of all dinos once again. What? The fuck? Did she just say that out loud? You internally groan and cringe. What the fuck, Amber? You knew she had the same mumbling issue as Dad, but holy fuck. It took Amber a few seconds to realize what she said, but when she did, holy shit, it looked as if she just saw someone die in front of her. Her eyes were whiter than the dinner plate in front of her. Yeah, to be honest, it was almost funny seeing her realize her own fuck-up. Would be if it weren't for that highly evolved ape right across from her, staring into her very soul, trying to vaporize her from the inside out. Amber looked over at your mother, who had a difficult look on her face. Mom, No, I knew this day would come. She plays with her hand for a few moments, still processing the words that came out of her mouth. I just thought I'd be more ready when... I'm sorry, I need to... Mom gets up, excusing herself, and rushes to the car. You glare over at your half-sister. You knew you had a reason to be suspicious. The fucking balls on this bitch. Well, it was finally time. Time to give the bitch a piece of your mind. Amber, what the fuck? Cynthia, don't. Your beak snapped shut as you turned to look at your dad. His eyes were now trained on you. I don't need you to make things worse like you usually do. In fact, you should go talk with your mother. What? Why, you... But Dad... Now... I'm sure she's upset and she needs someone there for her, Your dad turns his head and stares Amber down, who is shaking in her seat at this point. You and I need to talk, Amber. You sit there staring at the two. You've never seen your dad so pissed before. It reminds you of when you were a little kid and would draw on the walls, but for some reason this seemed a lot more terrifying. He glanced back at you. Why are you still there? Cynthia, go and comfort your mother. Yes, sir, you squeak. You get up and quickly make your way and leave the restaurant, an apology pouring out of Amber's mouth as you leave. Holy shit, that was intense. Though, you guess Dad was right. Fuck. You weren't very good at comforting people, though. You gotta think about this before going in. What do? Pat her on the shoulder? Say, there, everything will be alright? You could feel the spaghetti. You could feel the spaghetti filling up your pockets already. No. Cynthia, take a deep breath. Okay, asses, assess the situation. Amber ruined everything. She made Mom cry, and Dad more pissed than you've seen him in years. You were about to give her a piece of your mind when Dad threw you out. And now... Now you have to comfort your bereft mother. You take another deep breath and approach the family coupe. Your mother is sitting in the passenger seat, facing her hands. Oh no. Come on, Cynthia. You open the door and peek your head in. Your mother jumps in shock and glances over to see who's intruding her privacy. Hey, Mom. You doing okay? Oh, Cynthia, ma fille. I'm okay. You climb into the passenger seat and close the door. Oh yeah, that's good, right? Huh? Oh yeah, I guess. Your mother tries her best to compose herself, but fails. She groans and more tears fall from her again. I knew this day was coming. I just didn't expect it to be so sudden. You awkwardly place a hand on your mother's shoulder and pat it a few times. There. Your mother reaches up and grabs your hand, holding it firmly. A few sniffles and tears escape her. Merci, dear, really. The two of you sit quiet for a moment. This is way too awkward for you. You weren't good at this at all. Maybe making some conversation would help? So, Mom, you said you knew this was coming? What does that mean? I knew that one day Amber would question me about being her mom. I just didn't expect it to hit me as hard as it did. Well, it makes sense. You did raise her. You answered, trying to keep the conversation going. Well, it's more than that. More? What do you mean? Your mother takes a few moments to collect herself. Well, Cynthia, if it wasn't for Amber, your father and I wouldn't have ever gotten together. What? Your mother starts playing with her hands again. Maybe I should explain. The poor Stego wipes her eyes and sniffs the last of her tears before clearing her throat. So as you know, your dad used to be married to Amber's mom. Lucy, right? Yes, well, Lucy left us. It was really hard on your dad. Well, it was really hard on everyone, but your dad especially. And, well, seeing him like that was horrible. He wouldn't eat, he wouldn't sleep. The only thing making him leave his apartment was to take care of Amber. It was all he had left of Lucy, so one day I decided to build up the courage to go to his home and comfort him. Mom squeezed your hand again. We were all worried for him. Seeing him in such a state was just horrible. Every hour of his day was spent caring for Amber. He did nothing for himself. Eventually I was able to convince him that he needed help, and I offered. It started with me just helping with groceries, but it went from there. First buying him food and cleaning around his house. But I didn't like that, so after some more convincing, I offered to take care of Amber for some time. She took a few more gasps before continuing. During the days Anon worked, and I would be taking care of Amber, I would feed her, clean her diapers, and against your dad's wishes, clean the house. And part of me thought I was buried in high school. Started to come back over again. However, last comment piqued your interest. What do you mean? Well, like I said, your father was married to Lucy. We all met in high school, and I actually had a crush on your dad then, but he was with Lucy, and I kept my distance and respected their relationship. It was hard, but I got over it, or so I thought. She was grasping at your hand tighter now. You kinda hurt, but you suffered through it. Well, as time went on, your dad got better. We started going out and just doing things as friends again. First time with me, then with everybody else, then while all that was happening, some of those old high school feelings came back, but I ignored them. I didn't want to complicate things, but one day, while I was taking care of Amber, Anna was home, and at the time, and Amber, she said her first words. Tears flowed freely from your mother's eyes now. Her voice was growing hoarse, and it would crack with every other word. She called me Mama. Mama, I cried. And I mean cried. I was hysterical. After that, I started to push your dad to date me. He was skeptical at first, but seeing how much Amber had grown attached to me, he finally said yes. And a year after that, he asked me to marry him. A small smile graced your mother's lips, and recounting the past of her and your dad. You had no idea about any of this. You honestly didn't know what to say or what to think. Just how had you gone so long without even knowing this? Oh, brother, it's sleepy hours. But I will keep going. I will keep strong for you. You honestly didn't know what to say or what to think. Just how long had you gone without knowing any of this? All you knew was that Dad had a different wife, and then after she was out of the picture, he married your mom. You bring your mother into an embrace, awkwardly leaning over the gear shift. She buries her face into your shoulder. Labored breaths shook you to your core, and your neck was wet with tears as you rubbed your mom's back. Deep anger rose out of sorrow. Amber, she did this. This woman, your mother, reduced to tears, all because that cunt was being a piss baby about... You don't even know what! You thought back to what your dad said before he left. I don't need you to make things worse like you usually do. Well, sorry, Dad, but fuck Amber. You're gonna give that bitch a piece of your mind. Give me a second. I'm going to grab a snacko and we will be right back into it. Let me just, I will be right back. I swear to Christ. Oh no! This reading made me realize I forgot to eat dinner. So, yeah, I was just a little bit of dinner real quick, brothers. Man. And everybody, I hope, is still enjoying themselves. Let me just fucking make a sandwich real quick at the fucking table here. You put the mayo on your bread, and then you put the turkey right on top of that fucking mayo, man. Mayo on both pieces. That's the right way to make a fucking sandwich, man. I love sandwich. Sandwich loves me. Time to add some fucking pepper jack cheese. Pepper jack cheese and turkey sandwich. Now all I need is some crack and peanut butter. So there was two antennas that were on a fucking roof. And they got married. And, I mean, the ceremony wasn't much anything, but the reception is incredible. Alright, well. Oh no. I have a sandwich. Now I can peck on this and get back into the reading. Yes, sir. Cynthia gets up and quickly shuffles her way towards the door. You look back at your dad, who's still staring hot daggers at you. Dad, I'm so... Amber, I don't want or need to hear that. He puts up his hand and pinches the bridge of his nose. His shoulders slouch as he sighs. This whole thing was for you, you know. He gestures his arm towards the whole restaurant. You look around confused. I didn't want your mother or Cynthia here tonight. I know you've been going through some stuff. I just wanted some father-daughter bonding. I was hoping you'd be willing to open up about what's been bugging you for the past week, or cheer you up at the very least. The absolute shame you feel made you shrink back into your seat. A hole began to form in your chest. Your dad chuckled. But clearly, going the soft approach isn't going to cut it. So we're already way past that point, obviously. So Amber, tell me what's wrong. I don't want any bullshit. That artist eyes shit you've been tired by paintings as obvious lies. I want the truth. Right now. Your dad emphasized his words by tapping the table with his finger. You opened your mouth to say something, but all that could escape was a small squeak. You grabbed some of your water and drank it. Your throat had gotten incredibly dry for some reason. Clearing your throat, you attempt again. You shift your legs around. You're in a cold sweat. Your eyes dart around, looking for a good escape. No use. You were in a small corner of the building. No restrooms or fire escapes to escape from. You look back at your dad. His expression hasn't changed since Cynthia left. This was it then. Confrontation. You sighed and prepared yourself. I think I miss Mom. Your father sighed and rubbed his forehead. Yeah, I thought so, Amber. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I didn't want to trouble you. I knew she's a sensitive topic for you. And I told you you could come to me about anything. I know, I didn't want to upset you or Mom or anything. Yeah, well, look how that turned out. You winced at that. You didn't mean to say that out loud, but though you can't say that wasn't how you felt. Your father looks at you with remorse before sighing. No, you're not in trouble, but you are going to apologize to your mother and explain what happened, and then we will be sitting down and talking this out. You look away from your floor, and you look away from your dad and at the floor. Yes, sir. But not here, though. Follow me. We're paying the bill and then leaving. Okay, Dad. The two of you get up and pay the bill and return to the car. Stella was wrapped around Cynthia to see who's giving you a death glare. If Dad weren't there, you probably would have gotten an earful. But apparently she's smart enough not to open her mouth in front of him. He sat on the back porch, looking up at the stars. The ride home was quiet. The odd sniffle would escape Stella's beak every once in a while, and it always tear at your heart. When all of you got home, your dad sent Cynthia to her room and sat you and Stella down to apologize. She understood and accepted it, but stated that she didn't have the energy to continue the conversation tonight. The horrible look on her face killed you inside. With a final goodnight, Dad escorted Stella back to their room. And here you are, exhausted but couldn't sleep. The hope was that the fresh air and night sky would calm you down, but it was hardly working. How did I fuck up this badly? Is that seriously a question you're asking yourself? You look behind and see Cynthia glaring at you in the dark. Are you fucking kidding me? Cynthia? Whatever it is you have to say to me, I really don't need to fucking hear it right now. No, I think you do need to hear it. He scoffed. Are you joking? I already feel like shit. You don't need to come out here and add on to it. Oh, no, I'm just out here to make you feel bad. I'm not just out here to make you feel bad. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. You rolled your eyes. Oh? Is that so? What, that I'm a bitch? That I'm just a normal who has a shit taste and will never amount to anything? Well, I agree on that first point and could give a damn on the second, so it's pretty pointless for you to come out here and berate me like you always do. Cynthia crossed her arms. Oh my god, you are so pathetic. Do you have any idea what you did to Mom? Yeah, and I apologized and feel bad about it. Oh, so when I apologize it's fake, but when you apologize it's genuine? The difference is I actually feel bad, you fucking slob. Cynthia lets out a guffaw. Oh, you feel bad, but you still need a daddy to force you to apologize? I do feel bad. What the fuck is wrong with you? Nothing. I just think it's rich that not only did you have to kill your own mother, you had to go back and break her heart for the one that raised you too. She fell back. She fell into the back door of the house, holding her cheek. The shock, she looked back up at you. You were panting heavily at this point, shaking in pure rage and fucking audacity. The shit-eating cunt said, "You shut your fucking mouth!" The absolute surprise and offense that Cynthia just continued to stare at you, mouth wide open. It was taking every fiber of you not to tap into your human DNA and go absolute ape shit on the herbivore in front of you. After a minute of staring, Cynthia opens the door and retreats back inside. Once the door was shut, you pick up a deck chair you were sitting on and throw it into the back lawn. Fuck that whore! Now, calling her a whore implied any boy would be willing to set their standards low enough to fuck her. You wanted to do so much. You wanted to scream. You wanted to cry. You wanted to just fly. Fly away. Fly away from it all. You didn't want to talk to your dad tomorrow. You didn't want to shame yourself and have to look Estelle in the eye again. You didn't want to keep living with that wasted cum you had to share a house with. But evolution cursed you and your family line. Your wings are useless. Your uncle could attest to that. You look down at your hands, bloodied from your fingernails digging through the palms. Tears fill your eyes, and you run your bloody fingers through your silver hair. You just fall to your knees. Those words keep echoing through your head. I just think it's rich that not only did you have to kill your own mother, you had to go and break the heart of the one who raised you, too. Your heart was beating so fast it felt like it could explode any time. What if she was right? What if all this was just divine punishment? God or spirits or whatever Annie Rosa or Stella was talking about. It's all your fault, wasn't it? You bury your face in your palms and weep. Would you rather if you have stories for intermission or to just power through it? Okay, roll. Get to me. Oh, I can't hear you. Why is... Hold on. What's going on? Yeah, Sierra, I can't fucking hear you, man. Still nothing. Maybe it's my headphones.
You hear me now?
It was my headphones were fucked up. Sorry. I fixed them. Alright. Yeah, you have something... Oh yeah, let's fucking grab this goose. What do you got for me this time, bud? Rock goose? Like Rock Lee from Naruto? Oh, so you want like a raised eyebrow and a fucking... Have you been enjoying the story as I've been reading it so far? Pretty fucking good. Hey, I try. I try to do stuff. Well, that's where I'm from, so. He's from a place called Rock Bottom, which would be in Arizona. Him and Eco are both Midwest. How is this? A vine boom would be so distracting. You know how often that thing would go off? Like every 5 seconds somebody would fucking vine boom. Because I say so much bullshit that's just stupid. Yeah, by me. I'm surprised there's not fart.mp4 in here. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, so I just need to keep manifesting and get brap.mp4 in. I really like the characterization that Cynthia has in the story. It's very fun. And I used to be kind of like, I used to be a NEET basically, but I was never that unfriendly. I was always polite to everybody just because it was easier to fucking avoid people that way if I needed to. How's this for the rock goose? Yeah? Go for it. If you have a story, you can go ahead and tell it. Mm-hmm. Terry and Forsyth. That just seems inefficient, I'm gonna be honest. I understand that the bed making thing is supposed to be like discipline, but it always seems just kind of gay. Kind of stupid. Your fucking conditions improved it. Well, that's why they run you so ragged, so they don't have to buy better food. A saving measure. If you are starving to death, everything tastes like the best thing you've ever eaten. That's why I just ate 3 turkey and cheese sandwiches, because I am fucking hungry, or I was. And that is probably the best meal I've had in years. 2 is pretty normal for me personally, but I mean, I see what you mean. 3 is just the staple of the world. And Walmart is like many times bigger for each store. I don't think you understand how big a super Walmart is. Well, yeah, we have Costco, but Walmart also owns something called Sam's Club, which does the same thing as Costco. Man, I miss Costco. I really need to go out and buy one of those $5 rotisserie chickens. I need to go to Kansas City. Costco $1.50 hot dog? Fuck yeah! I swear to Christ, I'll kill you if you raise the price of the goddamn fucking hot dog. Mm-hmm. It is the book, my place. You walk in, fucking 32 pounds of fucking tater chips, just like, what the fuck? Who needs this many? And then somehow you go through them all in a weekend? The shopping cart. It wasn't like a 32 or anything. He probably grabbed like, what, a 50 pack? Hell yeah, this guy's drinking hella water, staying fucking hydrated. Yeah, he's probably still working on it. You obviously haven't seen me drink water. Goddamn. Fucking a gallon in like half a day. Yeah, I can do that. Oh, that's a bit far, actually. Yeah, no, he is a water drinking fool. Goddamn. Well, that's why you need to go to Costco to get that, you know? He was probably still stocked up. Or he's probably, you know, drinks from the tap or whatever in his house, or, you know. You know, we use the word tap a little bit differently. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I work construction, so yeah, I always have like a case of water in the back of my car, but every case only lasts like a week, and it's, you know, up to 40 bottles. Mm-hmm. call those chiquitos here. Might be wrong. Might be something else. Oh, yeah, no, we have something like that. Yeah, there's all sorts of, like, roller food here that, it's a quick and cheap lunch. You get, like, 2 big taquitos from the Quick Trip for, like, $2, and it's like, hell yeah, this is lunch. Or you can get, like, chicken sticks, I should say. They're, like, buffalo or ranch flavored. Those fucking gas station burritos will kill you, man. I've had those gas station hamburgers, though. Those fucking do numbers on you. Listen, man. Just show up at my doorstep. I will show you good cooking. What do you mean? That your palate has been destroyed by British? Yeah. Listen, I can teach cooking too. I could do that on stream as well at some point. Listen, I can. Oh, that's cool. Why would you eat legumes from a gas station? That's very foolish. Yeah, you're better off just grabbing like a pack of beef jerky. Yeah, you wouldn't have been so destroyed if you went with the Jack Links. Especially if it's just like the teriyaki flavor, that shit's bussin'. Now, personally, I'm more partial to a brand called the Old Trapper. Because it's a little bit cheaper, and they have like a wider range of flavors. The best jerky I've ever had came from Buc-ee's, but there's not Buc-ee's up here right now, or there's not Buc-ee's where I live right now. The closest one is going to be in Missouri. It is an extremely large gas station. Like, it's a gas station that is the size of a Walmart. 110 fucking gas pumps. Sells everything under the sun. Cleanest bathrooms possible. And fucking starting wage at Buc-ee's is fucking $25.60 an hour. What? You cutting out? I mean, power word, gamer. Feces. Yes, that. I wish I could do that to Stegoros. Just three dudes who like Stegoros, I guess, man. Jeez. Look, look, it's a Stegoros. Look, a creature. It's zooming in now, I think. Zoom and enhance, Batman. Yeah. I don't know. He may have been a chubby chase and been into it. Yar, we be wailing up in this bitch. Mr. Squidward, there she blows. Bring me harpoon. And then he unzips his pants. Yar, Mr. Squidward, the sea be a cruel mistress. The sea is what I call me wife when she tortures me bulls. Sorry, I'm sleep deprived. I'm committing to 2 more chapters right now. Man, I've been up since 2 a.m. It is now 11. Listen, I usually get a good night's sleep, man. Good luck, motherfucker. It's the morning now. It's 5 o'clock for you. Roughly. Yeah, alright. Well, if that's all the story you have, I'm gonna get back to reading, fellers. You went on for like 20 minutes there. And the first one, you went for a full half hour. Still a pretty long time. Alright, back to the scene. Enjoy. Yep, VOD will be there for you in the morning. Chapter 11 is known as Vanishing Point. You stare at your reflection in the mirror as you brush your teeth. Your mind was still on the altercation from last night. It didn't go as cathartic as you'd planned. Really, you didn't know that your sister had it in her to physically assault you. You weren't really angry at first, just shocked. Oh, don't worry. The anger still crept in. Just after you'd returned to your room, seething of not only your sister hitting you, but what she did to your mom last night made sleeping difficult. School was gonna fucking suck today. With a gurgle and spit as you inspect your bruised cheek one last time before heading out. As you walk out into the grand room, you noticed an emptiness to it. The only person there was your mom. She was writing some things down on a notepad. She looked up at you as you entered the room. Bonjour, cher. Her voice was raspy and quiet. Hey, Mom. Where's everybody else? Oh, your dad left early and your sister's still in her room? Her voice quivered upon mentioning your sister. Her entire mood was exhaustion and sadness. It took everything you had to hold back a sneer. You decided to distract from the situation with small talk. What's this? He motioned to the notepad on the counter. Oh, I'm making a list of things I need to pick up from the store. I was actually about to leave. Seriously? Her heart was broken not 12 hours ago and she just moves on with her daily life like nothing happened? It was just like her though, I guess. But still. Was there something you want to talk about, sweetheart? No, Mom, I'm fine. Are you sure I could pick you up so... No, I'm fine. Okay, then. She jots down a few last things on her list and picks up her purse. And she heads to the door and she looks back behind her. I'll be right back before you can get back from school. If you change your mind, just text me and I'll get you whatever you want. With that, she left, and you heard their car start and leave the driveway. Leaving you to yourself, well, you and your sister, who are still getting ready in her room. You cringed. You still had some time before school, but you decided to go early today, something you never thought you'd do. Well, better get away from home instead of staying here with domestic violence abusing freak. You hop off the bus and start the final leg of your journey home. You were right this morning. School fucking sucked. You had to buy 3 energy drinks from the canteen just to keep yourself conscious during class. And to make everything worse, you'd forgotten to charge your phone last night, so it died during lunch. Right in the middle of an argument you were winning too. Whatever. You knew that trying to show retards the light of true patrician was a taste of a losing battle. You don't have to you couldn't concentrate anyways. Too tired. When you get home, you were gonna get well acquainted with your bed. Dragging your feet down your street, a reminder popped into your head to just what kind of situation you're about to be walking into. You started praying that Amber would take another one of her extended visits to the boardwalk today. Luckily, you didn't really see Amber at school today. That doesn't happen much. Only when the powers that be decided to grant your wish, grace you with such luck. As much as you wanted to get revenge on your violent retard, you didn't have the energy. Hell, you barely had the energy to keep your head up. But finally, after extended minutes of walking, you could see your house at the end of the cul-de-sac. Your humble gamer dungeon was so close, and yet your peace away from the harsh, diluted world. As you got close to the house, you noticed these 2 cars in the driveway for. Dad was home early. Not too weird, you suppose. Close you get to your home, the more your eyes began to fail you. Just a few more feet, legs, that was it. Holy fuck, it was like your eyes were made of lead. Finally, after many steps, your step was on the door handle. Just a twist, push, and... It's my fault. My fault. Mom? No, it isn't, Stella. Look, I'm just getting in touch with Ripley right now. Everything will be okay. Dad? You walk further into the house, into the grand room. Your poor mother, was a quivering mess on the couch, clutching something in her hands. Your father was reaching out his phone and frantically pressing on the screen. I should have been better. Cynthia? Your mom takes notice of you, and in between her incoherent stuttering, your dad turns right around before you can press the call button. Cynthia! Oh, Jesus, you're home! Why haven't you answered your phone? You stared back at your parents with a mixture of confusion and fear, trying your hardest to force the words out of your mouth. Where's Amber? Your mom shoots up, staring at you with begging in her eyes. Amber, I don't know. You throw your hands up in defense, dropping your backpack as you do so. What do you mean you don't know? You 2 left for school together, right? What the hell is going on? Your dad grabbed a hold of the scared Stego and tried to calm her down. Stella, please calm down. You're not making the situation better. Okay, time for you to butt in. Hey, what the hell is going on? Amber, she left a note. I mean, did you see? Dad cuts off Mom a second time, motioning for her to get down. He looks back towards you with a serious face. Amber ran away. She left a note. Several things are gone. Amber's gone? You should be rejoicing, but the mood in the room seems a little bit erratic for you to be jumping up and down with glee. You mean, you knew she was being pissy, but to run away? Cynthia, your dad continued, we both called you several times. Why didn't you answer your phone? You wrapped your tail around your leg. It died during lunch. I'd forgotten to charge it last night, I swear. Okay, did you see Amber at school? You shook your head. Did you see her when you left this morning? You shook your head again. Your dad rubbed his head and sighed. Okay, that answers a few questions. Cynthia, please sit down. I'm calling Grandpa Ripley. We need to start looking for her. Dad finally pushes the dial button on his phone and walks over to the side, putting the receiver to his ear. You carefully walk over to the couch next to where your mother was sitting, quivering and letting out small sobs. You could get a better look at what she was grasping in her hands. It was a note from Amber. It was covered in tears and crumpled at the edges where your mother was holding it, as if she was trying to strangle to prove her daughter just abandoned her. You wrap your arm around her shoulder and do your best to try and console her. No, we haven't yet. Really? You don't want to meet at the station? Everyone... Alright, thanks, Ripley. I'll see you there. Your dad hangs up and looks over to you two. Alright, Ripley is calling the station now, but he wants us to meet here. He wants to meet us here. Why? Because we're going to get involved in the search party. We should call the others too to help us too. Olivia, Nazer, Rosa, maybe even Trish and Reed. Honestly, the more the better. Isn't that the police's job? Well, they can only do so much. And right now, apparently, they're pretty thin on police. They have to spare, and call time is precious. Besides, we're her family, and we can't just stop and sit around and do nothing. Now, come on, we need to start making calls. Alright, thanks, Rosa. Your dad puts down his phone and rubs his head. A few of your family had already arrived. Grandpa Sam and Aunt Olivia who was consoling your mom, while Dad, Grandpa Ripley, and Uncle Nazer were making their respective calls. Your dad turns to the other men in the room. Alright, Rosa's in. She's going to meet up with Trish first and hook up with us right after. Cool. I told the guys at Caldera Medical to be on the lookout for any teens that may end up there. Nazer adds. Alright. Sounds like everything's in motion. Already called the station. Grandpa looks over the four of us on the couch. We'll update you ladies if we find anything out. It'll be a long night. Olivia looks over at the old tarot in confusion. What, do you expect us just to stay here? We need people to stay here, just in case Amber decides to come home. What? Don't you guys need help? Your dad steps forward. It's okay. We have Trish, Reed, and Rosa coming to help us. Well, they're just as much family as the rest of you are to her. Plus, emotions towards Mom, who's still sitting on the floor. It's better if she has one of her parents here waiting for her. Olivia opens her mouth and just to say something stops herself. I see. Makes sense. Your dad nods and starts towards the door. Great. Now, Nazer, we'll take your car. It has plenty of room. And no one on. No one on. The three men stop and turn to your mother. What? No one on! Everyone jumps back. Holy shit, what the fuck? Where was that coming from? You pull your legs to your chest. I'm coming to help with the search. Your mother speaks with the sternness you don't think has ever left her mouth before, freezing your dad in his place. Wait, Stella, it's a good idea to have one of us here to... The angry Stako gets up from position and marches over to the human, cutting him off. I will not just sit here while Amber is lost out and who knows where. She waves her hands. I don't give a fuck what she thinks. That girl is as much as my daughter as Cynthia is. I feed her, I clothed her, bathed her, worried over her. I'm her mother, damn it, and I'm not going to just sit here and wait. Your mom's snout was very much in your dad's face at this point, backing up into your grandfather and uncle. Dad was struggling to find an excuse until Ripley placed a hand on his shoulder and gave him a look you couldn't decipher. With a sigh, your dad's relented. All right, you can come, but we still need people to stay here in case she gets back. Your mother glazed at him. Leave that to me. She turns around, changing her demeanor immediately, smiles, and speaks to the two other women who were just consoling her moments ago. Olivia, Samantha, would you two be so kind as to stay here with Cynthia and wait to see if Amber returns home? Olivia shrinks back into her wheelchair, mouth agape, looking between you and Grandpa and back to your mom. Grandma, on the other hand, calmly gets up and places her hand on your mother's shoulders. Of course, dear. Go and find her. We'll call you if she comes home. She leans in for a hug, which your mom readily accepts. Thank you, Samantha. And with that, the Stegosaurus marches past a group of still bewildered men out the door. Hey, Nazer, we're taking your car. The men look at each other, shrug, and follow her out of the house, leaving the three of you there alone. What the hell was that? Grandma shook her head. You'll understand when you have children of your own. All I can say is don't get between a mom and her kids. She has every right to do what she's doing. Unable to argue with that, your aunt shrugs and leans back in her wheelchair. Well, you seem to be taking all this very well. Grandma grabs her arm and lets out a labor breath. I'm not, but I've walked this road before. Best thing to do is stay calm until we know for sure what happens to her. The room is silent for several more moments till Grandmother turns around and tries to light the mood. We'll probably be up late tonight. How about I make us some coffee? Sure, Sam. Sounds... Before your aunt could finish, Grandma already starts walking towards the kitchen, making hot bean juice. Well, good. She turns her attention to you. How have you been holding up, kid? I've been holding up, kid. Till now, you've just been observing everything, with all the adults panicking trying to find your sister, all the fatigue that basically evaporates from your body. That didn't help them trying to speak while it was all happening. Now everything has gotten calmer. You feel as though you could actually think about what you have to say. I'm alright. You choose to answer. You sure? This must be very hard for you. She cried. No, I'm fine, really. Honestly, I couldn't care if they find Amber tonight. Olivia gasped and smacks her thigh. What? Don't say that. Why would you say that? Amber and I have never gotten along. It's one thing just to be annoying, but recently she's gotten a stick up her ass. Besides, after seeing what she did to Mom, probably better off. Cynthia, that's horrible, she says bluntly. Well, you asked. Olivia groans and face bumps. Look, I understand siblings don't get along. And I understand all of this is happening from what Amber said last night, but she's your sister, family. Roll your eyes. She's half-sister. And I've heard all this stuff before, too. Family can still be assholes, even to other family members. Your aunt shakes her head. That's more of a self-burn than you know, man. How? Well, you're not the nicest person to your sister, let's say that. She's done nothing for me but to give her anything. She sulks and gets sad over nothing. Even if it were something for to be sad over, she just ignores people and gets pissy when you try to help. I stopped trying the moment I noticed it. I don't know how my parents can't see it. She just literally insulted my mom last night. And what was my mom doing? Going out to look for her. Olivia sighs and places a hand on her shoulder. Man, I get it. I'm the last person to give respect where it isn't earned either, but family sometimes just has to work differently. It's something I had to learn too. You side-eye your aunt. What do you mean? Well, Nasser loves me. And I have more than my fair share of faults. You glance at her chair and she notices groans. And I mean more than just these two useless things. She grabs some of her unusable legs by the pants and shakes it for emphasis. I ask too much for your young uncle. He does so much and I feel as though I can't return half of what he gives me. Again, even outside of me being stuck in this thing, though, being a cripple doesn't really help. We fight, we argue, and there are things I don't really like about him. You shrug. What does any of this have to do with me? You're talking about your husband, not your sibling. The same thing applies, dude. So I should just tolerate what my sister does because of family? No, you're not getting it. What aren't I getting? What is up with the skater? Honestly, she's mentally handicapped too. Look, what I'm trying to say is you don't have to like everything about your sister. You may be even justified not liking a lot of things she does. I don't know, I don't live here. But you two are family, and one day you may be all each other have. Plus, you have to live with a girl until one of you moves out, right? You need to learn to live with her. Takes a lot of effort from both sides, but... Sure, but you need to learn how to tolerate, not enjoy or condone some of her quirks. She's a person like the rest of us. You don't know what's going on with her. Show her some acceptance and maybe she'll open up. How? Just talk to her, man. She won't talk to me. Trust me, there's a way. You may not know right now, but there is a way. And how do you know? You crossed your arms. Because I was able to make Nasser open up to me. If I know anything about your uncle, he opens up to almost nobody. I'm surprised that he did with Anon that one time. What one time? Olivia waves her hand. Don't worry about it, high school shit. You stare at her in confusion. Look, Cynthia, just try and talk different to Amber and make peace with her. There may be something going on that you don't know about. You think for a moment. It has been a while since you... No. You cross your arms and look away, pouting. You should listen to Olivia, Cynthia. You turn your head back around and see Grandma Sam has returned with the coffee. Placing mugs down, she takes a seat. You two should care more about each other. You sigh and roll your eyes. Grandma, didn't you hear what I said? I can list off everything she's done. She has a shitty attitude, and she gets upset when things ruins family dinners. She's a hypocrite. She insulted Mom and made her cry. She assaulted me. Now, instead of facing whatever punishment Mom and Dad have for her, she's run away from home, and I'm sorry if it's hard for me to care about her. Assaulted you? What do you mean? You're about to open your answer with that question. You just had to shut your mouth. Not the best time to tell them about what happened last night. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Point is, she's been doing horrible things. Grandma scans you up and down, bringing one of the mugs to her lips as the gentle sip turns before she looks back at you. Why? What? Why has she been doing those things? But I don't know. That isn't the problem, is it? She refuses to talk to people. She's getting upset over nothing. How do you know it's nothing if she hasn't told anyone? Well, what else could it be? The old pterosaur sighs in annoyance. You don't know what she's going through. Neither do you. Sam raised her eyebrow at you. You inspect her face for a few minutes to figure out what she meant. What? You ask. Olivia, noticing the small gesture, seems to have found out what it meant. Wait, Sam, do you know? I was told by my son in confidence what Amber's been going through. I was going to keep it a secret, but it appears my granddaughter wants to sit here and judge her sister without knowing the whole story. Nay, sir, he hasn't said anything. You may be his wife, Olivia. Grandma looks over the alligator and smirks. But I am his mother. Your aunt rolls her eyes at the comment. Well, what is Amber going through then? How important can it possibly be? You speak up. She looks back over you, her face shifting into a somber expression. Amber has been going through a lot of difficult feelings about her mother. She really misses her. Her mother? Lucy? Seriously? Actually? What does she miss? She's never met her. Sam reaches over and pinches your snout shut. With a muffled eep, she brings your face close to hers. Despite her age, the woman had a really tight grip. I'd be very careful about what you will say about my late daughter, Cynthia. You put your hands up and stare at Sam with pleading eyes, trying to express through muffled beak that you understood. With a final glance, Sam removes her hand from your beak. Okay, jeez. But still, Amber's mom died when she was very young, right? It's been years anyway, and Amber has never been like this. My mom's been the one raising her. Your grandmother shakes her head. I have no doubt Stella has been a very good and loving mother. I know she has. She's out there right now looking for her. Exactly. Why is Amber so sad? What excuse does she have to be sad? What if you were in this situation, Cynthia? What if the roles were switched and you were the one whose mother died? I wouldn't be acting like Amber, that's for sure. You wouldn't? Sam cocked her eyebrow again. No, I'd be grateful for what I had. You wouldn't be curious? Empty? The feeling of never meeting the woman that gave birth to you? Of never being able to connect with her and having that special bond? No. Samantha looks at you for a few minutes before shrugging and looking back down at her cup of coffee for another sip. Good to know that you would never think once about Stella if you grew up without her. Hey, wait, that's not... Samantha looks back towards you with expectant eyes, waiting for you to continue. You struggle with trying to find the right words to say. You try several times to get the words out, but you fail every time you do so. Eventually you whine and lean back into the couch, crossing your arms again. You know what? Today's been a long day. I didn't get very good sleep last night. I'm gonna go to bed. It's late anyways. Good night. Get off the couch and storm back towards your room. Fuck the both of them. You need some fucking sleep. Dog, so do I. I'm feeling fucking eepy. 6 chapters? Fuck yeah. I'm gonna fucking call it for the night. You guys are fucking awesome. VOD will be up, as always. Maybe I'll work on the supercut for Bad Apple soon. But I'm gonna go